We are live. Thank you for tuning in. Let me help you, a loved one or friend, find your vegan soul through food, people, events, and culture. We're talking about the return of Philly VegFest. And later we'll catch up with the woman who started the first vegan food bank in Los Angeles. So let's start with meeting the Philly VegFest director, Richard Rogers. What's going
Hello, hello, hello.
on? What's
Good to
happening,
see you.
man? What's happening?
Oh, everything's happening. You know how it is when we get into this planning. Everything's happening. It seems like everything's coming in all at once, but we're putting it together, making it work.
Oh, I love to hear it. I love to hear it. So, Philly Veg Fest is coming back after being on hiatus for a couple of years. How many
Well,
years?
actually came back last year, but it still feels like coming back. But we were on hiatus for 3 years. So 2021 and 22, we were out. Well, actually, you know what? 2021, 22, and we came back in 23. Yeah.
Three full. Wow. Okay, 3 years. Because I remember being when we were on hiatus for 2 years with Vegan Soul Fest.
hmm
3 years. Okay, so you're gonna have to tell me how did you feel and how do you feel now? Talk about the history.
It's interesting because, well, we all know the world shut down in 2020, and we were planning up until March came, and it had to shut down, so we had no idea when will we be back. Um, in 21, it was hard to book space. It was hard to book space in 22, at least in Philadelphia. So I was attending other people's Veg Fest who were back, but we couldn't get it all together with a sponsor or say a space sponsor, a site, a
Why why
location.
why was that, Richard?
I
Why
think
was
it
it
was
hard?
because they were many places were still weary of letting many people convene for a large festival. And at the same time, there were still people who were scared to come out to large events in large groups. COVID really did a number on some people. And think the mentality just wasn't there. People weren't back to normal. So I thought, if it's not happening now, let's sit and ease back into it. I know we'll come back. The world will come back to normal at some point. But it feels really good to be back. Last year, not until we even executed the event did I feel sort of normal. I felt like I was catching up to where I left off. I had all these plans for community building and events we wanted to do in the community, especially inside of our community for VegFest and the producers. I was targeting people I wanted to bring on stage. We were in the throes before the pandemic came of putting together our nonprofit portion. So all that stopped and people had, different focus. So I finally felt like I was getting back to conversations. It felt like the people were back out. We could see it, touch it. It was palpable once everybody was at the festival. So it had that good feeling again. Because when we first went down, like everyone else who wondered, are we ever coming back?
Right, right. That's how it felt when we were trying to bring back Vegan Soul Fest, and then the whole reimagining it into we went from a free event to now you're going to pay to get in, and that came with its own set of obstacles
Hmm.
during the first year.
Oh, yeah.
So talk about
You can't.
tell us the history about the fest. I'm going to bring up the website, and
Okay.
where is it being held. So let me just share that with folks right now.
All right. I'm
All
going to
right.
go in reverse. I'll tell you where it isn't being held because the story might get us off in all different directions about where it's held. But about the history. So it's being held at our favorite place to hold this festival. It's where we started in 2018. It's a place called Bainbridge Green, and that is a section of historic South Philadelphia. Bainbridge is actually a street,
Okay.
but Bainbridge Green has all down this. We take the street and it's split, so it's split into two lanes in each block.
Okay.
And dividing those two lanes are some old trees. So you have a nice cover. We're still on the streets, but it has the feeling of a park. Not a lot of grass, but we're still on the street. So it's a nice combination of city and foliage like you don't usually see in the city because these are some old big trees. And
Okay.
the other beauty of Bainbridge Green is that, as I mentioned, the street is split. So you get to end up with a north lane in each block and a south lane in each block. And those lanes are wide. They're like 30, 35 feet wide. So we can have vendors both sides facing each other with a nice center lane for everybody to walk. It's so conducive, unlike other city streets that are too narrow to put vendors face to face and have all the room you need for lines to form and everything that we know goes along with the activity and the planning for the activity in a veg fest.
I
So
love it. You have your sponsors here. You want to talk about their involvement. These are sponsors that have always supported Philly Veg Fest, or is this the first time they're supporting?
this is our staple crew, and
Okay.
starting with Level actually didn't come on until after the pandemic. Level is a purified water brand created by a gentleman named John Williamson Jr., and John hails from New Orleans. I
Oh,
met
wow.
John when he was giving some support and just starting his company. He was in Bronx, in the Bronx edition of LA Vegan Street Fair. So
Oh,
Jessica,
my hometown, the
exactly.
Bronx. I love that fair.
So
That's a good fair.
it was beautiful. So we trucked to the Bronx, and Jessica introduced me to this guy John, who was just starting this water company. All kinds of energy and all kinds of spirit about getting our people healthy and drinking what you need to drink and put in your body in the correct way. And John was looking for events where his target audiences might be, so that he could spread the word and spread the word of his mission, and also help grow his brand and his business at the same time. So I said, man, come on up to Philadelphia. So there's some sponsorship efforts that he puts forth towards our production of the event, and in turn, he brings out his tents and his water, and is putting out samples all day long. And some people are buying things or buying commemorative cups, but it's a good show. Just the level people themselves are just a lot of fun.
Talk
Moving on,
about the next one. Who is this?
Indraloka Animal Sanctuary. They have been with us since the beginning. And originally, they came on board as presenting sponsors. So the founder, whose name is Indra Lahiri, and it has nothing to do with the name of the actual sanctuary.
Mm,
It's just a coincidence.
mm.
But Indra Loka means heaven on
Oh, I love that. I love that. Heaven on earth. I love it. Awesome. Awesome. I think we're losing you, Richard. And then we have plant-based human on here. So definitely, and then let food
um,
be thy medicine. Okay. Here's the lineup of speakers, 2025 speakers and panelists. Oh, Richard, you still there? Because I couldn't hear
yeah,
you.
I'm
So
still
I
here.
just
You might,
started
maybe you
rolling.
weren't hearing me. I was talking about the animal sanctuary still.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I there was some latency there, so I just
All
missed
right.
you, and I said let me just get to the speakers and let's talk about what's happening with this schedule. What can we expect?
Okay.
So tell us about what's going to be happening.
Can I give you just a wee bit more about this animal sanctuary?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My
Just to highlight them, they originally came on as presenting sponsors. So Indra would deliver her message about the history and the goings on at the animal sanctuary, and they'll set up a booth and they greet people all day long. And that has evolved into a nice relationship where we, in turn, will bring people out and purchase a table at their Thanksgiving event and stock that table with people who will become maybe new contributors to their cause, and just new visitors, new volunteers, whatever they may need. We've changed the relationship a little bit this year. We're bringing them on as full beneficiaries.
Okay.
So we are doing our fundraising effort towards Indra Animal Sanctuary and towards Philly VegFest. So you'll be able to see when you visit our website, you will see their QR code on there and a little bit about Indra Animal Sanctuary. So please give. They come out and still do their speaking, and they're still boothing, but we audience supportive of that. Thanks for that.
I like the fact that the heaven on earth, and I know animal sanctuaries have a very challenging time raising funds. I know from a grant standpoint, because I review a lot of grants. um, for different committees, and I know that's like the big thing. A lot of animal sanctuaries need money. It's it's like, think about the restaurant. Restaurants need money to survive.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
the same with the animal sanctuary. So it's a great thing that you're doing, and I'm looking forward to meeting and connecting with them.
Okay.
Let's talk about plant-based human and let
Plant-based
food
human.
by, and the other one, let food be thy medicine, or is that all part of plant-based human?
We'll take them apart.
Okay.
Um, Plant-based human. It's funny that you mentioned restaurants. I don't know if you knew it, but I had a brief stint into a restaurant during the pandemic era. That time, so I did 2 years, and the original name for the restaurant was going to be Plant-based Human. That is a moniker that I use for my coaching, for everything that I'm doing in the whole food plant-based space involving wellness, care for animals, and whatever it may be. So plantbasedhuman.com. I did not end up calling the restaurant that because it was a little bit difficult for people to remember. So the restaurant was Ambler Vegan Company, but we still use plantbasedhuman.com as the base of the work that I do for coaching and spreading the word for wellness and love for animals and the web and the Veg Fest itself. So when we do finish putting together the nonprofit that is the Plant Based Human Wellness Initiative, and it's a goal to become a plant based human. That's what I've always described myself as, and that's why I like that name, and it is stuck. Let Food Be Thy Medicine. That is a forum that was one of the first on Facebook for wellness, and it followed up with some of the super docs we know, like Dr. Milton Mills, Caldwell Esselstyn, the PhD doctor of the China study, Colin Campbell, Dr. Greger, Kim Williams, many who have really contributed to the wellness that people are developing from eating this way. And the gentleman who started the food forum, Let Food Be Thy Medicine, the wellness forum, is a guy named Bill Crafso. And Bill's important to our story because he is the gentleman who introduced me to what a Veg Fest is. I had no idea. I became one of Bill's admins on his forum, Let Food Be Thy Medicine, back in about 2015 or 2014. I was providing a showing in my father's family's hometown called Norristown, Pennsylvania. I was doing a
Mm,
showing of Forks Over Knives for the community there. And
nice.
my brother let me know just a little bit, maybe a day before. He said, I have a friend named Bill Crafso. He has a forum. And Bill has an interesting story. Maybe he'll have some people who want to come out to see the movie. Well, I met Bill about 15 minutes before the movie was to start, and he told me a startling story about his own health and his own journey through veganism and plant-based lifestyle. Starting with a terrible life of eating. I think when I met Bill, he was probably 51 years old, but he had a quadruple bypass when he was 42.
Oh wow, that's young. Oh my god.
Yeah. And as he told me, he said, Rich, I grew up living on Twinkies and snowballs. He didn't know anything about how to process his
Oh
parents had
wow.
died when he was an infant of heart-related disease and food-related disease. So Bill grew up with an adoptive family. But when he told me the story of his quadruple bypass and then the parts of it that failed, then the infection that he gained after the failed bypasses, and the damage they caused to one of his lungs because they cut a nerve by accident. So he lost use of one of his lungs. And only by the grace of God and reading and movies did he stumble across Caldwell Esselstyn and found out about his protocol for cardiac patients and vascular patients, which is whole food, plant based, no oil, no salt, no sugar. We'll say
Okay.
minimal or no, but Dr. Esselstyn is strict, and that's what kept Bill alive for all those more years. So we got to be friends. He asked me to be an admin on his forum, and that's where I didn't know it, and you don't know this unless you're working on a forum, that there's a back channel where all the admins speak and talk, and you talk to them sometimes more than you talk to your regular friends that you see every day. So this relationship develops. Well, flash forward, Bill had asked me one day, "Hey, Rich, whatever happened to Philly VegFest?" And I said, "I don't know what that is." So a little bit of the history. I'm mixing all this together, so hopefully everyone's following this story. So in 14 and 15, those were the original Philadelphia Veg Fests, and they were run by the Humane League, and we had a robust office. in Philly for the Humane League, which
I know
eventually
about the
was,
Humane League.
and they were
Yes.
they were dismantling though in Philadelphia, so that's why it went
Okay.
away. A
Okay.
few months later, Bill had arranged a meeting with the woman who was the previous director and the coordinator. We met her at a coffee shop, and we went in there just to get information or find out what she wanted to talk about. And we walked out with a folder under our arms as the new directors of Philadelphia VegFest. And I had cut my teeth in an arts festival in Norristown, Pennsylvania for several years. So I knew how to handle a pretty large festival.
Hmm.
We'll call it a medium size. And Bill, I guess we'll say to his strength. Not only was he running the forum, but he was running the forum all day long. Bill was not traditionally employed, but he had plans, things he was working on to tie into the forum and the plant-based lifestyle. But while he was home all day, he was on the forum making friends with all these doctors and I guess influencers of whatever we had back then in the vegan space. So Bill was going to be able to be on the phones making connections. I was going to handle the logistics and be able to build this thing. It's funny, during the meeting I was kicking him under the table. I was like, we got this, we got this. It's like just so that's why we left that way. um, so our original plan, this was summer of 2016, early maybe even spring of 2016. So we hit the streets just running and we're making plans. I still look back at the notes of all the things we were collecting and pushing back and forth with us. But unfortunately, Bill never got to see the first Veg Fest. He died in September of 2016
Oh wow.
at the age of, Bill was 56 years old. So he lived, all those years from 42 when he had the quadruple bypass
Right.
because of the plant-based lifestyle. So he was a testament to it. And flashing back to when he learned about Caldwell Esselstyn, that's when he started writing. And it was so early that he was writing on MySpace, he told me. Eventually, he moved over to Facebook, and that's when people started following.
MySpace, you took me
MySpace. So
back.
he wanted to share everything he knew because he did not want people to run into the same issues that he had run into, just giving up. So Bill was a testament to the lifestyle, and he was a funny guy, but he was also able to speak directly to people when they were hurting themselves. But
Mhm.
he had such a kind heart, and he amassed I guess about 8 of us that were his head people and admins, and he even boosted a few more on there closer to the time he died, like 2 months before. And little did we know he was really stacking the place to make sure that it was run by people he trusted. So he knew things were changing. But yeah. So I was involved with the well check because I was the only one who lived near him in Philadelphia. Everybody, the other admins were far away. So that's
Mhm.
a whole other story we can talk about another time with the well check, and then going to the funeral with the family that I only met by calling them at 2:30 in the morning and sitting shiva with them. And then Bill's presence in my house for 2-3 weeks. It's a whole other story to get into, but it's real. So I've always kept this thing alive in the essence of the way Bill and I planned for it, the forum and the festival itself. Somebody from his family always comes to the festival every year, so we get an updated picture.
Well,
So-
the festival definitely has a rich history. So
Mhm.
I am excited that it is back because I have never been in the 14 years. Well, I've been in Maryland for close to 20 years, but you started this back in 2018, you said, or 14, 15, 16,
18. We were eight. We
18,
were
20.
18. We
Okay.
started in 18, and the Humane League did 14 and 15.
Okay, so I had never been to any of the Philly Fest, whether it was that one or this one. So I'm excited to be here
I'm excited about it.
this year. So let's talk about what can people expect from Philly Veg Fest and the return of this historic, I would say, festival. I see your speakers here. Let's run through this. They got the times up, and again, folks, you can go to phillyvegfest.com.
Yes,
The
yes.
lineup is really strong, so we won't have to we won't be able to go through in detail every single thing because we're running out of time on the conversation about Philly VegFest, but I want to have you highlight what everyone can expect, what's going to be different from previous years when you've been running it.
Okay. Um, well, you can definitely expect, it's a given. We don't even talk about great food, great
Oh,
vendors.
that's the most
Yeah,
important thing. That's why people come to the Veg Fest. It has to have
exactly.
great food.
So I
Yes.
want people to know that, you asked about what do we do a little bit differently. It's well, I you'll I always let people know, yes, definitely. We've got great food. We search high and low for the best food we can get. We have vendors of service and activism and art and apparel and body care, personal care, and wellness services. So there's a richness there for you to come out. We're looking at about 60 vendors this year, which is a nice number for us. Um, but what you can expect, and one of the things I always try to focus on, in starting even from 2018, I always learned that I was focusing on programming because anytime you have the opportunity to bring together this many people, and we're talking of, upwards of 5,000 people, let's make sure everybody's going away with something other than a full stomach. I want to make
Right.
sure that their minds are getting filled
Right.
because we do get caught up sometimes in just thinking about the food, and veganism is not just about food.
Exactly.
Sometimes the food industry dilutes that word and makes us think that, but this is an entire lifestyle.
Exactly.
So I try to make sure that I'm grabbing vendors and excuse me, vendors, bringing speakers, inviting speakers who are going to give us an array of information that's not just going to be talking about one facet of the lifestyle.
Well, Milton, Dr. Mills is there, and he's been at Vegan Soul Fest ever
Oh
since we
yeah.
started in 2014. So he's definitely going to bring it. So I'm excited. I'm always excited when I see him at all the fests, dropping the knowledge. Folks, there is a list of speakers here. You can go to phillyvegfest.com. Please, you got to come out to Philly. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be building community in Philly, sitting on a panel and doing an independent lecture. So come on out and hang with us. Richard, how else can folks connect with you personally and Philly Veg Fest? I definitely want you to shout that out. And then I'm going to connect you with Gwenna, who you said you didn't know. I always
Okay.
love making connections with people.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
I'm going to bring Gwenna on. But as I bring her on, I want you to definitely shout out how people can best connect with you
All right.
and the festival.
You can connect with us at phillyvegfest.com. And we'd like you, when you go there, to take a look at definitely all the speakers. Check out the bands as well. We've got 5 dynamic bands that are playing on the other stage all day long. And please take a look at the donation and participation section of the website. You can provide some money for Indraloka Animal Sanctuary. You can provide some money for Philly Veg Fest to help to keep this richness alive. You can also check us out on Instagram at Philly Veg Fest. We're constantly promoting and putting up information that has to do with this year's festival, as well as other fun things that go on in the vegan world in Philadelphia.
It was a pleasure, Richard.
My
Richard,
pleasure.
meet Gwenna.
Hey,
Gwenna is the
Glenn.
founder of Vegans of LA, and she's also the founder of the first vegan food bank in LA. She's doing
Nice.
incredible work in LA. So I definitely wanted to make sure you knew who Gwenna was. And Gwenna, this is Richard Rogers. He's the director of Philly Veg Fest, which I'm finally going to be going to next
Yeah.
Saturday. He's
Hey,
coming
Glenn.
back after 3 years on hiatus.
Hey, Gwenna, how are you?
All right. Well, it was a pleasure, Richard. We'll connect
Thank you.
later on in the week and
Okay.
stay blessed and have a good day.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Hey, and now you already know. I was looking at a video from 2022 and I said, I know this isn't the last time. I was like, wait a minute. I know this ain't the last time I had you on the show. How you doing, Gwenna?
Good. I was a little sleepy. I was running a little late.
No, that's okay. You're never late. You're always on time. Okay. I am so happy to see you. You don't even know you've been doing the darn thing out there. Please, please, please. And when I found out that because you didn't go to the summit in LA when I was out there, like you decided to go in this time when I was out there. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? That's not how the Pisces work. The Pisces, like, we're supposed to be connected. So now you're gonna have to tell me how everything went. Tell us.
So
happening out there.
I'm not gonna act like I participated in the whole thing because it was food bank week on top of it.
Oh,
and so it was a busy week. So I didn't make it there until Saturday and Saturday afternoon. But I got to see so many people that I had, not seen before and just hadn't seen in years. So it was really, especially the Black vegan women. It was so nice to catch up and to see people in person and to give people hugs again. I think that's what I go for. I didn't realize. I'm like, that's what I really go for because I'm
so mad at you. I'm like, who's gonna go when I'm not there.
Girl, I wasn't having it the last
time because my cousin came and got it. She's in Orange County, so I had to go with her. I'm like, oh my God, like this would happen. I would have my family come out, and then
I remember. Yeah, I remember you had stuff going on. You were busy. Yep, I remember.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah. I miss you. So you got to tell me, you had a talk, right? So, and I didn't even know you had a talk. I saw Ava post something on LinkedIn last night, or it was probably there before, and I just saw it, and I didn't realize you had a talk. Tell us about the lecture.
Yeah, so it was actually a workshop. I did a workshop on, goodness gracious, that's how tired I am. I've been doing so much. The workshop was basically about from sacred. It had to do with going from poverty to basically sacred abundance. It was basically a workshop that was kind of telling my story, but in a workshop format. So it was a 2-part workshop. So the first part of the workshop, we did the fun stuff. I showed some statistics from the food bank and did a little bit of the left brain thinking, showed some data, how we're making a difference in the community, how people are, using more plants to eat with, things like that. But then what we got into was really my true story of how I even started the food bank to begin with. When I first came to LA, July 4th of 2014, I went from living an abundant life to, once I got here, making some crazy decisions and going into poverty, like with a capital P.
Wow.
And it was just me and my cat and a little small black suitcase. And I was able to stay in a really nasty motel for maybe 2 weeks. And then my money ran out. And so I started looking at shelters that would take me and my cat. Because I'm like, I just have to be on the subway. Like, she's, a part of me. And I ended up finding a lady who would let me rent her couch for like $300 a month, which I was able to come up with. And I had never been that down in my life. I couldn't get a job. I would try to get one. I get the offers. Something with weird things would happen. I had no transportation. And then there was one week I had $5 to my name. And I had to eat with that $5. And so part of the workshop, we did a project where everyone had $5, and they had to act as if, I didn't make them have families. I was like, you pretend like you're single, and here's a list of items you have to choose from. So it was based on the prices back in 2014, based on me being able to go to the 99-cent store and get a few items. And so people had to choose from things like, noodles with gluten in them, white bread, wheat bread. You don't get all the fancy stuff when you're struggling.
Right.
And so to my surprise, everybody was so into it. And so almost everybody was like, everybody wanted to share what they bought with their $5. And so some people were like, well, I have a dog, so I got rice and beans so I could share my rice and beans with my dog. And then one lady, she even cried. She was like, this is so sad. And I said, yeah, this is a reality. I said, and honestly, $5 was a blessing. Some people don't have that. When you see people on the street, you know, shaking a can or asking, they don't have any money.
Right.
I said, so I wanted people to feel how scary that was, because what I also experienced during that time that I understood was how poverty messes with your ability to manifest, how
Yes.
poverty messes with your hope, how
Yes.
poverty messes with um your mental longevity to think positive and to,
Preach.
yes, and to welcome good things into your life. You start to sink down into a really dark hole. And
Oh yeah.
even, what about, you may need to steal? What if I had a baby? I'd be willing to steal and rob
Right.
for my
Right.
child.
Right.
Then you get caught up in the system. Now
Right.
you in the system. Now this is happening. Now you hate the world. And so I'm a firm believer that if every household had provisions, it would lower crime. Because I know I even thought about dining and dashing that week. I thought about, you know, what if I just sit, but I'm like, I'm so clumsy and my face tells the story. I'm like, I'll get caught. So I'm like, I can't steal. But some people are brave enough to do that. Like I said, if I would have had children at home, I'm going to do what I have to do.
Right.
And it's just crazy to be in a world where the earth provides for free.
Say it again.
The
The
earth
earth
provides
provides
for free.
for free.
Always has. Before we got here, the earth provided, which led me into the next part of the workshop, which was about the cosmic mystery of food. So it's like, you know, before farmers came to this planet, food was already abundant. Who put the seeds here? So what we did with that workshop, I went to a place called Sassoon Produce that has all these exotic fruits from around the world, and we let everybody pick 2 fruits. And so what they had to do was take the fruit. Once we told them what the fruit was, so we had things like mangosteen, we had um, yellow dragon fruit, pink dragon fruit, we had cinnamon, we had apricot seeds, we had wax apples, we had things that I can't remember right now because it was things that I didn't even know were fruits. We had the most exotic fruits. And so people had to use their phone and Google the power of blank. So the healing power of blank. So they had to Google the healing power of yellow dragon fruit, and then list, you know, like at least 3 things that fruit did. And the idea of that was, like, let's say cinnamon. You know, cinnamon lowers blood sugar. It also helps with bacteria in the body. They say it helps with getting rid of toxins in the body, certain things. Where did these things come from? How are they coded to automatically help our bodies? And so I
Right.
just wanted people to contemplate. This wasn't a religious exercise at all. This was just to contemplate, like, wow, because we take food for granted and healing for granted, even
Yes.
herbs for granted. Like,
Yes.
who
Yes.
coded these items?
Right.
Who made cinnamon help us with this? Who made yellow dragon fruit help you with your digestive system? And so the idea of that was, at the end, was like, could food be a love letter from the universe to show us that we were never meant to struggle, that we were never meant to struggle for food, that this is the one thing, including water and air, that's supposed to be unlimited. Let us fight over everything else. We want to fight over land. I mean, that was free too, you know, but we want to fight.
So here they
Girl,
go.
it's so
It
crazy.
was free, and then it was stolen. So you know, that we can get into a whole conversation about
Woo.
that. We got to get Omawale in this conversation.
The things we blow each other up over were the things that were already here on the planet. And so it was just to contemplate on these things. And because with the food bank, the idea of it is like, I'm not helping the needy. I don't even use that language. Like, if you ever see that language, somebody wrote that. I don't use words like needy or oppression or anything to describe other human beings, because the food is already theirs. We created these illusions and these systems of EBT and welfare, and you got to qualify. You don't have to qualify for it. It's ours already. I'm not trying to take away from profits and, you know, people with businesses, But the way this world is set up, every household can and should have provisions. No one should be hungry.
I,
And so that was the whole point of the workshop.
I, I'm so mad, but it was my wedding anniversary, and I've been going to Ava every, what I'm saying, and so it was this year that, and of course it would be the year, then everybody's like, hey, I'm gonna share your website because I want people to see. This is just a powerful thing here. Look at the first vegan food bank in Los Angeles. We gotta bow down to the queen. Definitely gotta bow down to meet the woman who launched not just the first food bank, but you had the vegans of LA. You've been doing it. I mean, I started these podcasts during the pandemic. Remember, I had you on, and I'm like, wow, you got like 90,000 people, or I don't even know where you're at right now. I haven't even checked, but at 90,000 then, you're probably over 100,000 now. This is crazy. How have things been going with you and the food bank and Vegans of LA? Talk to us.
So it has been a steady evolution. In the beginning, I wrote emails to so many organizations, like, "Hey, I'm starting this food bank," and it was literally crickets for the most part. And even in the world of food banks, in the nonprofit world, it is political. It is hierarchy. It is cliquish. And so I think sometimes having the word vegan, people still have their stereotypes and their turn-ons and turn-offs about it. But what I'm finding is the right people are coming in. So I'm getting great partnerships. I work with Food Forward. That's a food rescue agency. We work with them half from the beginning. We just started working with an organization called Seeds of Hope. And they have amazing produce. We just started with them last month. Great quality. This is going to save us so much money. And then, I'm funders. I have some amazing funders that believe in them. Not a lot of them do.
Shout out to the funders. Are they on your page? Because we're going to highlight them right now.
No, the main one is not on the page because they are private and they don't want anybody contacting them.
I got you.
Yep. So, but I'm so grateful and thankful for them because they are the main support. And they're the reason that it is going and that we are able to give people fresh produce.
Right. So a lot of times it's rescued and stuff like that. I know.
Yeah, because the rescue stuff is cool, but then when you get it, they don't guarantee the condition. They don't check the condition. So you may get 3 pallets of something and maybe 1 pallet is good. So you never, and we get about 300 something people in 2 hours. So my thing is I want the first person and the 350th person to be able to walk away with good quality items. So because of some of these funders, I can buy cabbage, which is a highly requested item. I can get cauliflower. I can get potatoes. I can get tomatillos and certain things, bananas and fruits and certain squash, things that people can really, chop up and mix up and really make into a full meal, in addition to the dry goods that we share with them too. So I'm very happy with the progress. We're stepping it up now. So like this weekend, today is Monday. So yeah, this weekend we're going to be at the Barack Obama Global Preparatory Academy. They're having a resource fair, and so we've been there before. And anywhere we go, we're the star. We are always any fair or event. If we show up, they call and be like, "Oh my God, people just can't stop raving about you," because we like to set up like little free mini farmers markets. We usually get Chobani gives us free or almost 90% off product coupons for their oat milks. And so now we're stepping up. We're going to have an anti-dairy campaign going on and giving out some free milk and cheese samples with some, anti-dairy information. We're going to have hot food, vegan food from Sunny Express, which is Chinese and Mexican vegan food. We're going to have a good time.
Gwenna, we've had conversations in the past, and I'm not gonna broadcast it here because we got some unfinished stuff that we need to do. So, because I've always admired you from, I forgot how we connected or when we connected. I don't know if it's hip hop is green or whatever, but if I had the riches, it would definitely be a tithing going to you and the work that you're doing out in Los Angeles. I can guarantee it. So come on, riches. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's right. And that's another thing. I'm always calling it in. Like, it's, being in this realm, I'm learning to, one, take better care of Gwenna and put Gwenna first. I am not a martyr. I am not doing it to death. I'm not here, there, and everywhere. I now know how to sit down and rest and say no. And that's allowing me to get myself back in the mindset of abundance and knowing that I'm deserving of wealth. Just because I'm doing this work doesn't mean that I can't be wealthy. I've been doing a lot of work on myself, listening to audios, reprogramming, affirmations, believing it, visualizing it. And
Buena, you speak in my language, and that just segues us into the next question that I had. How is your spiritual journey coming along at the intersection of the vegan movement? Because I went through that as well over the past couple of years. Like, it's like you're pouring out for everybody else. You're pouring out, everything is for everyone else because you're passionate and you want to help and me people pleasing, and then forget about the things that I do that I need for me. And I went through a journey of discovery, and it was really intense. This was at the end of the Vegan Soul Fest in 2023. So from that point on, all the way until early this year, I was like, I got it now. Like, let's do the snaps.
Yeah.
It's about me. Self-care is not selfish, and I gotta put me first, and it's things I have to do, and everybody's getting their things done, and my stuff is on the wayside. So talk to me about how you came to be this new Gwenna and the self-care and how the spirituality play a role in that.
When I left my job, and I'm not blaming anybody, these are all self-imposed things. I just always saying yes to doing this, that, and the other outside of the job with other people because I wanted to help and be a part of. But there probably was also a thing where I wanted to be seen and, have my name attached to certain things. And so then when I left and I found myself with some free time, I would feel myself getting anxiety when I was relaxing.
If I like me, that's the fish. That's the fish. We always got to be doing something.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're Pisces too. That's right.
That was your March. I'm February. Yeah. You're March, right?
Yep. March 12th.
So you got like we're on the same way, but y'all intense.
Yeah. March ones are intense. Yes. So I found myself feeling anxiety, relaxing. And then I caught it, and I'm like, why am I feeling anxiety? Like, I felt like I had to be doing something. And then I had to remind myself, I'm like, you don't have to earn relaxation. You don't have to earn sleep. You don't have to earn anything. And it took about 4 months before I actually truly reprogrammed my mind and my heart and my body to just, if you want to take 2 days and do absolutely nothing, you've been working since you were 12. You can relax.
Say it again. Your dad, you got me beat by 2 years. I started at 14. I'm like, damn. I am grateful to have the husband that I have because he is just the opposite of me. He's gonna get he don't care what's going on. He's gonna get his rest in. It could be like a major thing going on, and he's gonna get his rest. And
Yeah.
he looks at me and he was like, you know, you need to, you know, take it down and relax. And then what happens to me is I might get injured, I might get hurt, and that'll put me on my ass for a few days.
Yeah. That's your higher self, like, okay, sit it on down.
Exactly. But you know what I've done? What I've done is normally, and see, I only go live on Thursdays, and I said because it's you, Gwenna, so you already know because it's you. I'm gonna do this for Gwenna, but I go live on Thursdays, everybody at noon. You're tuning in to Naijha. That's perfect for commercial break. You're tuning in to Naijha Speak. Please subscribe to the channel at NaijhaSpeaks.com. Naijha Speaks is a project of the Black Veg Society. Thank you for tuning in. Please donate, because this is how I can spend time and talk to beautiful spirits such as Gwenna Hunter, the founder of Vegans of LA Food Bank. Go to blackvegsociety.org and make your donation. And sometimes those donations, I wind up sending them to organizations like yours. So, folks, this is how you help out. You know, we're all in this together. But yeah, so outside of that, I make Friday, Saturday, and Sunday my days off, unless I have an event to go to or something that's a business commitment. But other than that, if I don't have anything going on, you ain't gonna, I don't send no email that Friday, Saturday, so I don't want to hear it. So it's like Monday through Thursday. So, because you have to do that, and then you got to work out. Like you got to work out, you got to eat well. And so, what is your system?
So it's interesting because my system is constantly evolving, and I'm in a new phase right now. So I'm moving in with my fiance. I'm at our place right now, and he's very much into health, nutrition, and working out. So we're doing it together, and so I'm saying this live next year. This time, it's gonna be a total physical transformation, and I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's gonna be a good thing. It's good because you need that balance. Like I said, if it wasn't for my husband, he keeps me balanced. And let me tell you something. My mother praised the Lord for that because she knew I was the fish. I'm sit back because she's a laid back person too. She all this running around like sit your ass down and calm down. So it's gonna be a good thing, you know what I'm saying? And, definitely, yes. You gotta keep me posted and connected because you're gonna love it because it's needed. You need that balance. That yes, because you're meant to. And you talked about anxiety. I don't even go there. Don't even go there. Like anxiety, you open a dictionary and you see my face.
Wow.
So just break. I've been listening to Ralph Smart ever since the pandemic. You know, Infinite Wonders. So he really helped me go through that whole phase, and I continue to listen to his talks. So it's very important because we want to be busy, we want to help, but we have to take care of ourselves. Are there any challenges you want to talk about that you're still facing? Anything.
I mean, always trying to get more funding.
Funding, y'all. Donate to where's the website? I gotta put the website.
I do want to share this. So I'm keeping Vegans of LA. So I started Vegans of LA in 2015. I wasn't vegan yet. I was vegetarian, but Vegetarians of LA just didn't sound good. So I didn't think it would be a big deal. So I was like, okay, I'll just say the word Vegans of LA. And I started doing like meetups and things like that. And people were coming. They're like, oh, you're vegan. I'm like, no, I'm vegetarian. And, they were like, oh, you gotta, and then I had my dream and all that. And then I became vegan. And so it started off as a meetup group and community events and stuff like that. But I'm going to be changing the name of the organization let me say that. I'm going to be starting a new organization called Planetary Unity, which incorporates more of who Gwenna is. It'll still have an animal rights aspect, but it'll be also too about unity. Like I'm sure you understand when you're being called to do something higher and bigger, and more. And that's what, and the call has been going on for a while, and it's like I don't have the fear. There's levels. There's certain things I'm like, oh, y'all want me to do that too? Wait, hold on, let me take that in. Hold on 1 second.
Right.
But for this part, I'm like, okay, I can walk into this without any hesitation or fear. Right. So I want to have so Planetary Unity is going to be, about consciousness and oneness for the planet. And it's not just going to be about animals, but the animals will be incorporated into it, about the unity. So I'll still have Vegans of LA, which will just be a local thing. And plus, I think it'll be easier when I'm applying for grants called Planetary Unity versus Vegans of LA, because I think I get discriminated against with the word vegans. I do.
You think? You think?
So that's coming in 2026. The logo is being worked on right now. I got the domain. It's nothing there yet. And then I'll be submitting my papers for it to be official really soon. So that's what's coming next. And I'm really excited because a big part of it is going to be shows. So I'm going to have a Planetary Unity podcast where I want to talk to people. I don't care what their diet is. I want to talk to people that are doing extraordinary things in this world. Now, do I care about veganism? Of course.
I love it.
Yeah, I want to talk to people that are changing the world, because as vegans, we can learn from other people.
Yes.
And as important. Yeah.
You didn't think that's what, you know what? I gotta get out there to you. Like, I gotta, like, we gotta, because that's what I'm saying. I see you and I see eye to eye on what you're talking about. Yeah. And I'm so happy for you, Gwenna, because that is that next level of spirituality, compassion, and action. When I got into this movement, you're thinking the vegan movement is truly compassionate to all, but then I saw something different. Yeah. There was still racism, there was still colorism, there was still sexism, all of that
stuff. It's all still there. All of it. Whatever's going on in the news, in the world, it's in this movement. And people are so, I didn't know this was going. I remember when I first got in the movement, somebody had posted a video of a Black teenager doing something harmful to a dog. It was horrible. And I remember reading the comments. I never saw so many N-words in my life. And it was people that I saw that I was connected to as friends, were liking it, were clicking like on it. And I'm like, what is this community?
Right.
I'm like, this is not what I thought. Now, yeah, it was horrible, but yeah, so this... Because guess what? You can't save the world. You got to save yourself first. A lot of people in this movement project their own traumas and pain into the movement.
Right.
And they make it seem like it's for the animals, but a lot of people are broke. And I get it, because I've been in both aspects of that. But it's like, you also, in order to heal the world, you got to heal yourself too. You got to do that.
Heal the world. If you want to heal the world, you're going to have to heal yourself too.
Yeah.
I have to make sure that people heard that in the mic.
Yeah. And when you heal yourself, you are healing the world. When you heal yourself, you are healing. Yes. If everybody here healed themselves, all this stuff would stop. It would stop.
That's why I say try love. Like,
I've seen you say that.
What would Jesus do? Or whatever your God or your spiritual worship, what would that person or cosmic force do? Not harm.
That's right.
So it's just a lot of, like you're saying, personal, hurt people.
That's right.
Okay. Racism is taught. All of those isms are taught. And yeah, we, you just got to elevate from that. You got to raise your frequency. When you're
That's
on a
right.
higher frequency, you're going to see things a little differently. When you're operating on that lower frequency, that's the frequency of death,
Yes.
hate.
Yeah.
So you got it. I'm looking for, so that means you're gonna be coming back on the show to talk about.
That's right.
I love it. Okay, how best can we connect with you, Gwenna? And I know the call to action is you need people to donate, and they can go to vegansofla.com, right?
Yeah, so we got that out the way. They can do that. But if you just want to follow the work I'm doing, I don't post all the time. I set myself free from that too, because if you don't post it, it's like it didn't happen. But I got to get better. But sometimes that just exhausts me. But the majority of my work can be seen on Vegans of Los Angeles _. So on Instagram. And then I have Vegans of LA on Facebook, but I don't really do a lot with that page. I got to get back into it. So
I will work on you. See, that's why I need to be out there in LA. So I need to be at that dinner. I missed the dinner.
I know you missed. It was good too.
That just Black woman bonding, and in a manner of sisterly love, non-compete. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what we need more of. Lift the sister up. That's what we need more of. Lift the sister up, and try love. Those are the hashtags for today. Try love and hashtag lift the sister up. Gwenna, it has been a pleasure. I am so happy I caught up with you. And
I know.
yes, on a Monday, Monday. Well, until we see each other again, and I hope it doesn't take a whole year. Stay well, stay blessed, and I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much. I have fun. Thank you.
Meeting you where you are. The meaning behind the slogan is that we meet the community where they are, on their journey towards holistic health, a plant-based lifestyle, and veganism, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. We do this through people, food, events, and culture. Our 6 pillars are earth, eating, education, empowerment, enlightenment, and events. We are Black Veg Society.